Thank you for the invitation to be here today. I appreciate it. So does our department. I'd like to, if Ms. Maldonado can give a shout out, then I'm going to shout out to the Coyotes and say welcome and congratulations if any of you are graduates. And I hope to see it work soon. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. May 14th, 2020 was my 30th year with the Los Angeles County Probation Department. Oh, and I wanted to tell you that for security reasons, our department IT administrator will not allow us to show our face on Zoom. So I'm not trying to be, you know, undercover or anything. But anyways, and I am at home, so you may hear some noise like my assistant, who is my dog, barking and a couple other things. So with that said, this is my 30th year. I started in the department, thought I would only be there maybe a year. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, have my AA degree, have my master's degree in criminal justice administration. And when I got promoted, I was working on my doctorate in clinical psychology. But in order to do well at work, I stopped my doctorate program 2 units short of graduating. So my advice to you is keep the main thing, and the main thing is school. Yes, we have to pay our bills, but school is extremely important. And if I can give you any advice from my 30 years, I know most of you probably are working on your bachelor's degree or maybe even graduated this June, but I highly suggest you check out the master's programs available. And Cal State San Bernardino is not paying me to say this, but I really believe that that the master's programs and a master's degree will take you much further. And my suggestion would be in social sciences. If I would return to school myself, I would probably get a master's in social work. Now, our department pays 2% bonus for a master's degree that's related to probation. So I do get a 2% bonus for my master's degree in criminal justice. And as of yesterday, they have agreed to pay a 2% bonus to anyone working as a detention services officer in our juvenile halls who has a bachelor's degree. So I've never seen that before in my 30 years, but I think that's pretty great. So I started off in the beginning as a Deputy Probation Officer 1. I had assignments in our probation camps, working with male youth. That was my first assignment, right off the streets of Orange County into a probation camp, working with senior boys who were gang members and committed every kind of crime you could think of. Very eye-opening, but I loved it. I loved the youth. I'm definitely very passionate about youth and their families. And I think that, I've helped many families and many youth throughout the years. Some still try to find me, and we're not allowed to speak with anybody, but sometimes, you know, you answer the phone and they're like, remember me? Well, I've had thousands of people on my caseload. So, oh yeah, you, yeah, great to hear from you. Anyways, from DPO 1, Deputy Probation Officer 1, I went on to Deputy Probation Officer 2 in the field, and I had great fun. I had assignments such as drug treatment boot camp. You know, this is some time ago because there's no more boot camps anywhere. That was a lot of fun. In that assignment, I would supervise youth males who were coming out of probation boot camp back home who had severe drug problems, and most were gang members. So my partner, who is a drug counselor, and I would visit these young men on our caseload at their house, their job, their school. We would just pop up, drug test them. We would provide resources, jobs, tutoring for school, anything we could do to get them back on track. That was really a fun first assignment in the field. But I also went on to become on loan to the city of Duarte as a deputy probation officer too. I did school crime suppression on high school campuses, and I also worked on the gang task force. I then was promoted to supervising deputy probation officer. My first assignment was at the South Central office in Compton. And that assignment was now switched from supervising and working with youth and their families to working with probation officers and supervising 15 probation officers. That's quite a change. If I had to, if I had to tell you, I think it's easier to work with the probation youth than try to supervise the officers. They're kind of high maintenance at times. But anyways, that was a really great assignment. That was placement, where the judge has removed youth from their homes because of a crime. 80% of these youth were sex offenders. And that was an eye-opener for me because I hadn't worked with too many sex offender youth during my field career. So, and in addition to that, as a supervising probation officer, I've worked in the girls' mental health camp, the boys' mental health camp. I've worked with senior boys. I've worked with boys and girls in one building. And the last assignment I had was I ran the New Hire Academy, where when you guys get hired, you will come and you will join us at an 8-week paid academy. And I'll get into it in a few minutes about what the academy entails. So we have 2 positions open. Oh, and I'm currently an assistant probation director and the recruitment manager for the County of Los Angeles Probation Department. And I am the only recruiter, and I am a team of 1, but I'm here to help you. I just want to tell you about our 2 positions, and our hiring flyer is up. Thank you very much. We have group supervisor nights, which I'm sure you're all qualified for if you're attending Cal State San Bernardino. And group supervisor nights starts at $43,000. What group supervisor nights does is they work in the juvenile hall and the probation camps from 10 p.m. at night to 6 a.m. in the morning. A high school diploma is required. You must be 21 years of age at the time of your appointment to the position. You must be a U.S. citizen or working towards citizenship. And you need to have a valid California driver's license and no felony convictions. So group supervisor nights, like I said, requires a high school diploma. So all of you can apply for this position. However, and it does work, with your school hours. I know you guys don't sleep anyways, but 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., you're working in a control center with partners. You're not alone. There's about 4 of you, and right now the populations in our probation camps are about 25 youth. So there would be about 4 of you. You're ensuring that that they're asleep. If one of them has a headache in the middle of the night, you would have to walk them over to the nurse on duty. She would administer medication. You just have to maintain the safety and security of the youth, the facility, and staff during those hours. So when you get off at 6 a.m., a detention services officer or a probation officer comes on duty to relieve you for the day. So detention services officer, their shifts are 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're open 24/7, 365. So you may be working holidays, but this is also great for anyone who wants to continue their education, pick up your master's degree, finish your bachelor's degree. A lot of people have side jobs because you can have a combination of any day or any one of those hours or 16-hour day. It all just depends. You have to get 40 in there somewhere. So this position requires 60 college credits, 12 of which must be in social sciences. So that would be like criminal justice, political science, psychology, sociology, all the good stuff. This position starts at almost $58,000, which is pretty good. Both positions come with full benefits, medical, dental, a retirement plan, paid vacations, paid holidays. We are union, so we do get increases negotiated for usually a 3-year period. I think this last time around, I think we got 10% over 3 years. But in addition to that, you also get step raises. Every position in our department, you start out as a detention services officer. Step 1, step 2, you get 5%. Step 3, and every 2 years you make that step. And like I said, as of yesterday, a 2% bonus for a bachelor's degree. So pretty much what a detention services officer does is work in the juvenile hall. We have 2 juvenile halls, Sylmar and Central Juvenile Hall in Los Angeles, right next to County USC Hospital. You come on your shift, let's say you come on a 6 a.m. shift, just like if you have a little brother or sister at home or a child of your own, you gotta wake them up. Once they wake up, they usually have to use the restroom. They have to be fed breakfast. You don't cook, we have a catering service on site at the juvenile hall. The juvenile hall is all contained. It has all services, medical, a dentist does come in when requested, but medical, we have 24-hour nursing. We have the courts system that are attached to our juvenile halls. We have a school, we have a church, we have visiting area, we have a recreation field, pretty much everything you can think of. So it's all self-contained. So you wake up the youth, they use the restroom, clean up, eat breakfast, get ready for school. You walk them across the campus at the juvenile hall to school, and each one goes into their classroom with their assigned teacher by grade level. And one of your jobs throughout the day is you may be on a school post where you're sitting with a couple of other officers, maybe in the hallway or maybe in a class if requested, just to make sure that everybody is safe, secure, following directions. So your main job is to supervise these youth at all times. Once they are in school, they come, you go pick them up from school, they go to lunch, you take them back to the school, pick them up at about 3 o'clock, and from there, they have a little rest period where they read and relax. And then you take them outside for recreation, outdoor recreation, basketball, football, catch, tag, frisbees, whatever it might be. You can also get creative if you'd like as well and take a group on your own. Some people like to, make crafts or teach etiquette to the young men or young women that are housed at our juvenile halls. And from lunch, and let's see, I left off at coming back from school for the day, having recreation, then they have to eat dinner. Then after dinner, they clean up, have showers, and have a little night recreation where they read and watch TV inside the living unit. Inside the living unit, you have a long hallway with room after room after room with a window so you can see in the room. And maybe you've seen it on TV. And you make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be. It's great I have worked in probation camp where the youth are serving their sentences. Juvenile hall is a holding place different from camp. A lot of people, this is like one of our questions for our oral interview. What's the difference between a camp and a probation camp and a juvenile hall? A lot of people say, oh, they're for rehabilitation. Yes, they both are, but one facility, juvenile hall, is just a holding space while the youth goes back and forth to hearings at the court. So that takes some time. At camp, they are serving the time sentenced by the judge. So that's the difference. Deputy probation officer ones are in the camps. Detention services officers work in juvenile hall. So that is pretty much your full day of what you're doing as a detention services officer with your partners. If you're in a living unit, you probably have about 4 or 5 staff. You have a supervising detention services officer, a senior detention services officer, then yourself, detention services officer. Both group supervisor nights and detention services officer are sworn peace officer positions. So you do have a badge, not to be used at any drive-through like Wendy's or McDonald's or for discounts, strictly for professional business. Have to throw a little fun in there. Anyway, so both of these are sworn peace officer positions. And how do you get that? Well, when you get hired and I see you at work, you will attend right away. You will attend an 8-week academy. During the academy, you will take a 1-week class. It's usually on campus at Rio Hondo College. You will take a 1-week peace officer standards training, which is a governing body. You will take their course for a week. You'll learn how to physically arrest people, your partners in the class, and you'll learn about the penal code and everything that comes with peace officer status and arrest powers. So it's really a cool thing. I take pride in being a peace officer for 30 years. And what they've done in the past few years is they've actually even made your badge match your title. So it's kind of fun to go up the ranks and get a badge with a different title regularly. Sorry about my barking dog. I have a plumber here. Hopefully you can hear okay. So the 8-week academy, what is that like? Well, I ran the academy for 3 years. That was my last assignment. And you are with a group of other new hires that have no experience because these positions don't require experience. Some people might have worked with youth or in a group home, but no one has the type of experience really that we train you for. The academy is mandated by the Board of State Corrections, and they mandate classes that you must take. One of them is the 1-week peace officer standards training. Other courses you will have will be trauma-informed care, methods of counseling, suicide prevention, child abuse, all the laws, all the documents you will need to fill out if there's allegations. Youth sometimes will tell you and confide in you that they were abused and that we are state mandated reporters. So we have to make sure that we phone that in and document it. So we have a lot of responsibility, but I really have enjoyed it. I've loved working with the youth, and it's been the best part of my career, actually. I'd rather work with youth than supervising officers, actually. They're not bad, and I love them all, but you know, they're kind of little drama here and there. What else can I tell you? Let's see, I have some notes. Let me just look to make sure. Oh, okay. So yes, the Academy has all those courses. all kinds of academic courses that you must pass, and they have little mini quizzes, nothing, 50 pages long or anything like that, but mini quizzes. You must pass all of them. You would get a second chance if you failed one. I've never seen anyone fail academically while I was over the academy. The second part is we have state mandated physical requirements. You must run 1 mile within 19 minutes. You must do a 75-yard dash in 30 seconds. You must run a little mini obstacle course within 30 seconds. You must hold a 165-pound mannequin on your back for 30 seconds, and you must drag that 165-pound mannequin 30 feet in 30 seconds. Now, I know it sounds really horrific, the mannequin part, and I've had young ladies that are 100 pounds, so they're actually lifting this mannequin on their back for 30 seconds, and guess what? They do it. I have never seen anyone fail the physical part, except for one person could not run the mile in 19 minutes or less, and so I had to terminate that person. Other than that, we have a great academy staff, lots of fun. They want you to make it through. They're hard on you, but they're hard on you because they want you to learn and do well when you're out in the juvenile hall. They help you from day one to become physically fit, eat nutritiously, and work as a team together, because that's what you'll be doing in the juvenile halls. So they work up to building your muscles and to running. So on the first week, they'll test you to see how fast you can run a mile and do all these things. And then they retest you for your final on the 8th week. And trust me, you have built up, you have built up the muscles and endurance and breath and everything else to just knock that mile and everything else out. So like I said, one person failed out of the physical part in my 3 years over the academy. After the academy, there is a wonderful graduation ceremony where hopefully parents would get to attend. COVID wasn't during my time period, and I hope it goes away so that we can have community events. But you have a wonderful graduation where your parents attend, family, husband's wife, whoever, and you are sworn in as a peace officer for the state of California by our probation chief, Ray Leva. Now, about chiefs, I've seen a lot of chiefs through my 30 years, and I am happy to say that this is our first chief that is not Caucasian. He is a former LA sheriff's deputy and worked his way through that system and was called back to service because our chief just retired last year. So he is Latino, and I think he's a great guy. So I'm very happy. Not that anything's bad with anyone Caucasian. I'm Caucasian myself, but it is nice to see a change. When people ask me, what is my favorite thing about the department? Honestly, when I really think about a good answer, I love the diversity in our department. We have everybody. We have all ethnicities, cultures, Native Americans, LGBTQ. We pretty much have everything. And so you get to know, I have a probation family aside from my own family. So I've learned so many things from my team and my coworkers and other fellow officers about their traditions, food. In camp, you sleep over. Your shift in camp is 2.5 days on, 4.5 off. So I'm telling you, camp is Deputy Probation Officer 1. So after Detention Services Officer comes a promotion to Deputy Probation Officer 1, which if that item were open now, you would qualify with your bachelor's degree if you are graduating, you would qualify for that position. Why am I telling you this? Because there is a career path, and deputy probation officer to me is like jumpstarts your career, because, well, where else do you get to work 2.5 days and have 4.5 off and make the money that you do with the benefits? Pretty good. Plus you can work overtime, and then you can work a second job, go back to school and get that master's degree. That's when I picked up my master's degree, was when I was in probation camp. The good thing is that our human resources department just told me about a week ago that once we hire a large quantity of detention services officers and group supervisor nights, they will begin promoting upwards, because they need a ton of people to supervise our adults in the community. And so the promotions would come from group supervisors, detention services officers, and that keeps going up. So you guys would promote to deputy probation officer 1. 240 open positions in the field. So that's a lot of